The In-Laws, Season 2, Part 3. A story by E.B.'s Heart. Are you still seeing her? One of Emmanuel's men was asking the other. Yes, she is sitting in a certain grave. Let me take a closer look, another one said. She sat on the grave and disappeared after a while. The men ran away with fear. She sat on a particular grave for some minutes and vanished. Then we went closer and the name there was Madame Marian Uma. The men informed Emmanuel immediately they stepped into the shrine. How can I find an individual named Uma from 100 years ago? Emmanuel was pacing about with worry. Everybody get out! He shouted and knelt down in front of Fora's statue, invoking Fora again. Fora appeared, but was very angry. Why are you calling on me again? I have given you all the clues you need to find her. Fora said angrily. I have checked the clues you gave to me, but nothing came out of it. Please Fora, I know you don't want your humble servant to fail. Help me, after all, everything I do is for your glory. Emmanuel said with a bowed head. Her name is Fina Uma, she was a pure virgin girl whom you set on fire together with her family. They were also the members of your church. Can you remember her now? And do you think you can still find what belonged to her? Fora laughed mockingly and disappeared. Emmanuel called his church's record keeper. He registers every family that joins his church, according to him, so that picking them for sacrifice would be easier. Look for this name on our family records, and get me all you can about them. I want to bless them. He said, smiling hopefully. Emmanuel started a rumor about what happened at their special service. He made his congregation to believe that an evil spirit tried to attack him, and he destroyed it with his powers. Soon this was the only thing they were talking about in his church. So assuming our Papa was not a real man of God, the devil would have one? Some women were discussing beside the church. The devil is indeed a liar, thank God for the God of Emmanuel, another woman said with her hands in the air. Fina came to Emmanuel's church the next Sunday, and sat in the front seat as usual. Her presence now affects Emmanuel and his minions. Emmanuel tried all his best to stand up, but could not. Everyone in the church were surprised. After a while, they lied that they were under attack again by the same evil spirit. His men later carried Emmanuel away. When the service was over, a middle-aged rich politician approached Fina. Leave our master alone, or else when you die this time, your spirit won't even see where it will go to, he threatened. Fina laughed and said, look at where your greed and quest for money had led you. Defending a man whom you know so well is a demon. The man left immediately, because other church members turned to look at them. By then Emmanuel had commanded some of his dedicated cult members to follow Fina. When you get there, invoke Fora to be with you, call her by her name. Her name is Fina Uma, direct your sacred staff towards her and speak in our tongue. She will return to where she came from. He instructed them. They followed her to the cemetery, invoked Fora, called her by her name and started speaking in demonic tongues. Fina stood at a place watching them. When they were through, she spiritually ran between them and touched all of them in the head. They all ran back home and started confessing their sins, and how many people they had killed. After that, Fina appeared to them one after the other and said, repent in your ways, accept God, or die. They were all afraid to die, except one, while the rest went to other believing churches for cleansing and baptism. He went back to Emmanuel to report what had happened. But he died the next day. I am becoming weaker by the day, she have started taking my disciples. What am I going to do? A desperate Emmanuel was asking his minions. Strike her, I wonder what you are waiting for. One of them suggested. Since finding something that belongs to her may not be possible, why not face her with your powers, another one said. Plead with Fora to assist you in striking her, Juma his personal assistant advised. No, I will handle it first, before calling on Fora, Emmanuel replied arrogantly. Emmanuel waited for another day that Fina will show her face. He followed her into the cemetery. Once Fina saw that he was already inside the cemetery, she disappeared and appeared outside the cemetery. The cemetery instantly turned into a big prison. This is where you will remain, until we are ready to destroy you completely. Emmanuel looked around in fear, and asked, "What is this place?" Fina laughed and said, "This was never a cemetery, it is a prison that I prepared for you. I know you will not resist the urge to follow me one day, so I kept waiting patiently for this day. You have grown too powerful, so sending you to where you belong may not be as easy as I thought. So you will remain here until I set all your captives free, then I will come for you. I will make this place as secured as possible, so that you cannot escape." Fina said and vanished. Emmanuel fell on his knees crying. He tried calling on Fora, but got no response. "Even Fora cannot hear me from here," he said hopelessly.